Good morning from beautiful downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire. All right, phone, be quiet. Do not disturb. Um, that would be San Bernardino County and Riverside County, an area which broke away from Los Angeles County about 100 years ago. And Riverside broke away from San Bernardino a few years later because they did not like all the drunks in San Bernardino. That would probably be all the saloons, some of which were owned by Wyatt Earp's family. Well, anyway, let's get to the heart of the matter. Where is it? There's supposed to be a share button. I don't have one. What the hiss? Well, I just did a quick Google search for. Here we go. I think that might be it. They changed things so I didn't recognize it. Yes. Tsunami warnings. 8.8 magnitude earthquake hits Russia, causing tsunami fears. Those are those huge waves. Tsunami waves reach Hawaii and California after huge quake off Russia. There's also a warning for the Kamchatka Peninsula. I recognize that as a part of Russia crossing the Pacific toward Alaska, but not reaching Alaska. I know Kamchatka because back in the Dark Ages, when ads for alcohol were allowed on television, there was this Kamchatka vodka commercial that was quite entertaining. I was a child, so I didn't drink vodka. I still don't drink vodka. Anyway, Kamchatka sounds so awesome. It's a barren peninsula. I guess some people live there, but it's cold and dark. You know, it's close to the North Pole. Anyway, little scrolling down. Oh, I did scroll down. 8.8 magnitude earthquake hits Russia, causing tsunami fears. That 8.8 is pretty darn close to the quake that hit San Francisco. I think that was 1905 or 07. Let me just check real quick. San Francisco quake and fire. 1906. Okay. I knew it had to be in there somewhere because my grandmother remembered being a small child and watching from the shore at Oakland, looking across the bay at the fire in San Francisco. And she was born in 1900. Let me see what the cat wants. Smokey Sue wants out. All right, hang on, kiddo. You're a weirdo. It's dark out there. Here you go. Ah, cats. Well, at least Taurus, my good girl, just sleeping on my bed, making sure that there's no room for me. I am up at a quarter till 5 in the morning because I've been up since quarter till 1 in the morning. I slept most of the day yesterday, which was July 29, because I got sick, I think, from something I ate. It was either the hamburger meat or the canned refried beans. I don't know. Anyway, I'm good now. And the internet finally works. It's been down for 3 days where if I got up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, I could at least get my email. I could not use YouTube. It takes more bandwidth than email. Anyway, and my phone had to use Wi-Fi just to get a text message or make a phone call. I hate Verizon, and I think I might switch to another service, Spectrum. I wish I could afford what is that called? Sky something? Elon Musk's satellite system for internet. All right. Well, actually, I get emails about earthquakes. And I had to, when I first signed up, it was just filling up my email. So I had to switch and make it don't show me anything smaller than a 6. And in the past week, I've been getting tons and tons of emails about earthquakes from around the Pacific Rim, from New Zealand to Russia and Alaska and off of South America as well. The Rim of Fire is going crazy. On top of that, there are concerns about volcanoes in North America. Now, we've been hearing for years that Yellowstone might wake up, that huge caldera. But Yellowstone is constantly vented by geysers and such. What they're talking about is mountains in North America and Canada. One of the areas of concern is Mount Rainier in Washington State. So let's see. Um, Here we go. Volcano Mount Rainier. Okay, you're seeing it, I think. Mount Rainier, also known as Tahoma, is a large active stratovolcano in the Cascade Range of the Pacific Northwest in the United States. Now, let's see, is Mount Rainier erupting right now? No. There has been a recent increase in earthquake activity, a swarm at the volcano. Not an indication of impending eruption. The volcano remains at normal background levels of activity. Well, if you say so. What would happen if Rainier erupted? It could significantly impact the surrounding area, including Seattle, primarily through lahars, which are fast moving mud flows of volcanic debris. And by the way, those mud flows are super hot. They'd kill you. They wouldn't need to drown you, the heat would kill you. While Seattle is far enough from the volcano to avoid direct impacts like blast damage or pyroclastic flows, lahars could reach the city's outskirts via river valleys like the Green River. Ashfall is also a possibility, but prevailing winds would likely blow ash away from Seattle. What was that eruption? Decades ago now. Mount St. Helens in Washington State. My cousin gave me a little of the ash that fell near Portland, Oregon. It was a couple feet deep. Oh, wow. I guess everyone else is asleep. I wish I could sleep, but I slept all day yesterday. Very upset, Tummy. Very upset with all the various nasty symptoms of having to get rid of food that you should not have eaten. I'm leaning toward the hamburger meat because I ate some of it very rare. You know, minced beef, minced meat, ground beef, hamburger meat. Well, anyway, I'm curious as to whether anyone else is aware of the tsunami warnings. We also call them tidal waves. What will happen is you'll see the water along the ocean shore recede, and you'll see a huge stretch of beach that's usually covered by water. And some people actually enter that area to gather seashells and stuff. Bad move, because that means the wave is about to come in, and it could be 20 feet high or even 40 feet high. There's a famous photograph of a historical tidal wave on the Pacific coast. I think the cameraman was in Alaska. It was after that huge earthquake in the 1960s. Let me see if Google will tell me what year that was. Alaska earthquake and tsunami. March 27, 1964. They aren't showing me photos, just videos. 1964, wave height up to 220 feet, 67 meters, locally in Alaska. Well, a cameraman got video of the wave. Unfortunately, he did not survive, but his camera was found and the film developed. He thought he was at a safe distance from the wave. He was not. Now, these tidal waves in the next day or two could actually hit California's coast. But they'd be traveling so far, we don't know how big they'll be. Probably less than what hit Alaska, which is kind of close to Russia. And Hawaii also, their waves would not be as big, but they'll still be huge if they hit. We cannot be sure that they will hit, but they might. I wonder why the Pacific Ring of Fire is suddenly so active with earthquakes of magnitude 6 and higher. Is something going on, or is this just the historical cycle? Who knows? Well, anyway, I put a link in the description for my books on Amazon, even though they have nothing to do with earthquakes and tsunamis. Ah, YouTube says I have a listener, and I'm almost ready to hang it up and watch some more videos. I've really gone over the main points. Of course, YouTube never gives me an accurate count of how many people are watching, but right now it says 0. So I think it's safe for me to get off the live stream and watch some more videos about, let's see, Epstein, Crossfire Hurricane, Dan Bongino, Tulsi Gabbard, and the Orange Man, President Trump. I do want to point out that first they were going to give us a Doge dividend check. Never happened. Now they're talking about, well, maybe we'll get a tariff dividend check. Well, for people like me who are on fixed incomes through Social Security, what is this thing doing? Oh, slow charging. Yeah, I know. Leave me alone. These electronic devices are so pushy. Well, anyway, we have suffered under 2% increases in Social Security based on the government's calculation of inflation. Oh, and one time we got 8% increase. While prices of everything that we actually buy have doubled and tripled. But they look at the price of a car and a washing machine and I don't know, stuff like that. We don't buy cars and washing machines. We can't afford them. We buy food and clothing and shelter. And suddenly, if you rent a room, which used to cost between $400 and $600 a month, now it's well over $1,000 a month. In some cases, $2,000 for a studio apartment or a room with kitchen privileges. Don't they think that it would be easier to solve the homeless problem if they prevented people from becoming homeless in the first place? Frankly, I hang on to the home that I own, even though I have almost no equity in it. In other words, if I sold it, I would get nothing. Because I could not rent a room for what this house costs me. And I'm barely scraping by. And there are some bills I cannot pay at all. So, for example, I cannot pay the trash service to pick up my trash. My household trash. So I have to get a friend to haul it to the dump for me for free. And I do feel bad about that. But man, I'm not even at the top of the poverty line. I'm about halfway there, but I make it work. Clothes from the thrift shop or used stuff from eBay. Um, and not very often, by the way. I think over 2024, last year, I bought 3 pair of jeans and 4 t-shirts. That's it. Oh, well, not counting socks and underwear because they do wear out. I don't know how other people get by. I do know quite a few who are one at a time, two at a time, becoming homeless and begging to live in uh, trailers on other people's property, or ending up with a tent in the forest. We're surrounded by forest here in these mountains. Even those who get Social Security or welfare don't get enough to put a roof over their heads. And if they actually earn some money or get a gift from friends, it just reduces the grant that they get from either disability or, welfare. So they're back to square one, and they had to do a bunch of work, whether it's begging for donations or working a job. They did a bunch of work and ended up with nothing, except maybe a little self-respect. It's like, hey, I don't know how I'm getting by, but I am. As I said, I make it work, and some bills I can't pay at all. And I just have to hope that California continues the program where if you can't pay your property taxes, they'll take care of it for you and put a lien on your house, which is why I don't have any equity. And if the housing market crashes, which it eventually will for sure, I'll be underwater. I'll owe more than the house is worth. And you think they'd reduce property taxes if the value of your home decreased? Think again. Oh well, enough ranting and raving. I'm glad I'm up on a mountain about 75 miles east of Los Angeles, inland, because the tsunami won't reach here. It would have to be at least a mile high just to put a sprinkle on the mountain. But I am concerned about the Ring of Fire going nuts with earthquakes. First, it was around New Zealand, which of course is near Australia. And then it was up by Alaska, and then it was in South America. And now it's everywhere. Both the Atlantic coast of South America and the Pacific coast of South America. So Argentina and Chile are getting hit. And all the little islands like Fiji and Vanuatu and so forth around New Zealand are getting hit. And then the more northern islands near Japan are getting hit with earthquakes. And now the Kamchatka peninsula of Russia and the coast of Alaska. Huge earthquakes. Some of the quakes that caused huge swaths of destruction in Southern California from the late 80s till, I don't know, somewhere in the early 2000s were just barely a magnitude 6. But you know, a lot depends on the topography and the fact that the San Andreas Fault is running through California. And yet these quakes were not actually on the San Andreas. They were on nearby branches of that fault. And this mountain is kind of very close to one of those branches. The San Jacinto Fault. I'm tired of people calling it San Jacinto. It's spelled with a J, and in Spanish the J is Jota. It sounds like H, not Y. Oh well, enough ranting. I am a recovering English teacher. One more thing. All kinds of news outlets and government officials have been talking about people perpetuating some bad action. No, they're perpetrating. Perpetuate is the wrong word. First you perpetrate, you do it. Then you perpetuate, which is keep it going. But you can't keep it going unless you started it first. So they're perpetrating and perpetuating. But the way they use that word, it should be perpetrate. Enough English teacher ranting. I'm trying to get over it. Okay, guys. Despite all the crazy news, have a great day and see if you can get those earthquake alerts from the USGS, United States Geological Survey. They'll email them to you. But please tell them not to bother you unless it's at least a magnitude 6, or you'll find 100 emails a day about the little quakes all over the world. And I limited it geographically to the Pacific Rim, too, because, well, even though I get notices when it's on the Atlantic side of South America, I don't get all of the Atlantic, I don't get Europe, I don't get Asia. I get my local area. What is this phone telling me now? Yes, I know it's slow charging. The other charger quit working. Stuff happens. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's see, this is Wednesday. Now, I try to come on Thursday mornings. I had to back it up. I used to come on at 8 a.m. Pacific, but I have to try to do 7 a.m. Pacific because my internet just loses tons of bandwidth around 8 o'clock in the morning, and it doesn't come back till somewhere between 10 p.m. and midnight because Verizon doesn't provide enough service for the subscriptions that they sell. And the FCC or whoever's in charge does nothing about it. So guys, have a great day in spite of earthquakes and tidal waves, tsunamis. And I'll catch you next time, whenever that is. Bye.